interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Yo, it's Remember the Show. Slick with the flows, where the sparring can go. Who's gonna be on, man, you never will know. Guess you better tune in, cause we live from Chicago. Belal Muhammad, that's the king of the tweets. Jason Anik looks like John, step his hands to his feet. Every Thursday, we gonna give you a treat. It's Remember the Show, hit play and repeat. And retweet, and retweet, and retweet. And retweet, it's Remember the Show, hit play and repeat.
Yes, sir. It is Remember the Show, episode 45. Jason Anik, Belal, Muhammad. Dude, no guest last week, but we got a couple coaches this week, man. This matchup been brewing for a long time. Fired up to get the game show going again.
Dude, this one's gonna be fun, dude. They're doing so much trash talking. It's hilarious. It's gonna be a good one. I love when that, like, the guys are coming in, they want to be competitive and they actually want to win. That's what makes it the funnest.
Yeah, and Nicksick, former Remember the Show champ. So I'm excited to rehash that, So he was on back in January. We've been on over a year now, so getting in before the year is up.
Was that the first defense? The first defense in Remember the Show history?
Well, Jared did.
Yeah.
Jared came on there before. Jared defended it.
And
I still owe you,
Lou,
Jared. Don't worry. I got you with a couple of gifts coming your way.
Yeah, Jared and the doctor. I mean, the doctor gets it. And Lou Taylor, I think, appeared more than one time.
Yeah, I think he lost twice, though.
All right, we got to get him.
If you remember correctly, he also didn't have saltines in his house like 4 different times. I mean, at some point, you have to know that that's coming in the game show, right?
Dude, but it is funny how the game show's evolved. The Kraus Nicksick. Kraus was out front of his house screaming what my mom is my dad, right?
Yeah.
So we're not always offering up those types of challenges anymore. But I got to say off the top, so we get in this pre-show, right? Cody Merrill will open the door at maybe 8:00. We buzz in maybe 8:20, a little before. But when I see your face on the screen, I literally just don't say anything because I don't. All I want to say is, what the fuck is going on with your fight? And all I want to do is just harass you, to be honest. So this week, I just waited to harass you till we start. What's going on?
Honestly, we're not getting anywhere yet. It's depressing, but I'm hoping to hear something soon. There's rumblings, but nothing set in stone yet. Nothing until we get a contract. So,
all right. Well, we won't spend much time on that. I'm glad you're still working your ass off, as we know. So, but I want to. So Paulo Costa's weight. I just want to start there. Like what? Like, I mean, like, what is it? Like a free for all? You just show up and so Paulo Costa he basically dictates what. I mean, what am I missing here? Like, have a little respect for the profession, for the promotion.
This guy's literally been different ever since that loss to Adesanya. I don't know if it's one of those where he was undefeated, he was so dominant, and all of a sudden you get embarrassed. Some guys, they can't take a loss. They don't know how to take a loss. And it breaks something in them mentally, spiritually. But yeah, like you show up at 210 pounds and you're acting like it's just okay. Like there's like, oh yeah, I mean, we both agree that it should be safe, that we shouldn't have to cut this weight. If he wants to fight, like I shouldn't cut this weight. And I'm sitting there like, as he's doing this interview, I'm like, first of all, you should have had a translator because to clearly let your words out, because like you're playing the whole role of I don't speak good English. What are you asking? Like those are good questions that Aaron Bronstetter was asking him, and he was like avoiding the question. Like I love weight cut. What's really weight? This is fighting. I love weights and numbers and symbols. They don't mean anything. And I'm like, bro, like why are you 210 pounds? Answer the question. Like
seriously,
you sign a contract for this, and then he's trying to put it all on Marvin, saying, oh, well, I mean, it's up to Marvin if he wants to fight or not. So I'll put it, I hope he wants to fight. And then you're trying to make it to the fans seem like, well, if Marvin turns it down, Marvin's scared. But no, like that's a weight class. You're assigned a weight class, 185 pounds. You both signed a contract. You've had a long time to set this up. You pulled out of a fight against Robert Whittaker. You did this, you did that. Like you should be ready, should be hungry to want to get right back in there.
Yeah, and it's not like some super fight entertainment bout. It's an important bout in a division at a specific weight class. And so as a fan, and we'll get to this when you make your pick, but it's like as a fan, I mean, the handicapping of this fight is different for Adesanya, who both these guys lost him last time out. It's like, what must he think? Like if you really want to be considered for another chance, I mean, even Vettori, I'd like him to get the opportunity to compete at the right weight.
Yeah, and then, but now it messes up everything because you go out there. If you're Marvin, you're still going against a guy like Costa who has knockout power, and he could put you to sleep with one punch, and he's not having to go through that extra weight cut where, that last 5-6 pounds, and Costa's already a huge guy. I'm sure that weight cuts kills him and drains him, and you lose power when you're cutting all that weight. So now he doesn't have to go through that extra weight, and he's going to have that little extra power. He's going to have that little extra cardio now. So now if you get knocked out, then what is it? Like, man, I shouldn't have did this. I should have just waited or fought somebody else, or just been smarter with it. But you can't do that because you're a fighter and you'll fight anybody. And that's what Marvin is. And you got to respect the guy for that. But he won't get that extra respect from people just because fans don't like him for some reason.
And you think this must drive Dana White insane? I mean, obviously the event's still going on, so that, but this must drive Dana insane. Has to.
Yeah, especially because you got a guy like Costa who's like, well, I mean, if they want a main event, they have to work at my terms. And he's trying to play that role like he's some big pay-per-view star or something like that, and you're not.
Right.
Like, you lost your last fight. Like, if you want to get back on there, you want to say I deserve this or I deserve that. I deserve the rematch with Adesanya. I was drunk on wine that night. Go out there and prove it. Show us by being professional, showing up on weight, knocking out Vettori at 185 pounds. Then you could be like, well, all right, this is the Costa we thought that was going to show up that day. That didn't show up to fight the champion, the guy that was sitting there showboating as he was losing the fight for no reason. And people are looking at him like, what is this guy doing? And just the last two performances you've seen him, it was a terrible performance against Adesanya. And this fight week, you're looking at this guy who's not showing up on weight. It just shows that he's not professional. He's losing fans.
Well, and you come on tonight, and I'm like, how you doing? You're like, I'm sore, right? How sore is he out of camp? Not right? I mean, what?
Exactly.
Got to be doing it year round. All these guys, like Jaylen Brown for the Celtics. I know the Knicks beat the Celtics, but he's 46 points coming off quarantine for COVID. It's because the dude's training his body year round, ready to go.
Yes, I mean, you saw Brendan Allen, his fights. I think he tweeted out his fights in 6 weeks, and he said that Costa's heavier than me, and it's his fight week. Like,
yeah, I mean,
like, how is that possible that you're 210 pounds? Did you not know you had a fight? Did something get lost in translation? I don't know what's going on here.
I hear you. And I guess I mean, the argument of saying, well, he's there and he's not going to make it. You might as well find out now. Well, okay. Well, that doesn't take away from it. It still happened. So, I'm glad he told us. I'm glad he didn't get on the weight. Whether he gets on the scale 194 or tells us 3 days ahead of time, it's still a failure in my mind. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I know we're having a couple coaches on tonight. There's been a lot of talk about the cornering of Jim West and Aspen Ladd. Now, obviously, there's a lot here, and I want to hear what you have to say. Obviously, there's a lot on both sides of this. And I just thought it was interesting. There was someone tweeted at John. Now, Misha Tate was pretty forthcoming. She came out with a lot of stuff on this. John had a lot to say on the podcast about this, but I thought this was interesting. And I just wanted to angle my question to you this way. So some guy, his name is Yeo on Twitter, Y-E-Y-O. So he says, at John Anik, I'm surprised you did not bring up Jim West's cornering versus Kunitskaya. Ladd knocked her out with similar motivation. Could it be a case of an overreaction because there's no crowd in the Apex? And I thought that was an interesting question. I didn't go back and watch Kunitskaya, right? And obviously we don't know the relationship. But for me, all these like rhetorical questions, like what are you doing in there, asking her for answers. And he did the same thing 2 rounds in a row. So for me, it didn't work the first time you did it. And then he went back for seconds. That's all I have on it. Tell me your thoughts on the corner there.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I don't think he really was outlandish or anything with what he was saying. Like I said, to me, it was more so I felt like he was just doing it for the camera because I'm like, she's not responding to you. She hasn't responded to you in the last 2 rounds. Mm-hmm. At some point, you got to tell her, like, Aspen, do you hear what I'm saying? Aspen, look me in the eye right now. Focus right now. Are you focused? Could you look me in the eye? Because I've been there. I've had fights where sometimes you just don't feel it. You're not feeling it. And I feel like that's what Aspen Ladd had, the situation that was going on with her. Because she was just like standing in front of her and there wasn't really nothing going on. And sometimes you're just flat. And there's just like no other feeling like it because you're in a fist fight and you're flat and you can't do nothing. But that's when you need that coach not to yell in your face. You need him to wake you up a little bit, but not with like, if you tried it the first round, it didn't happen. You tried it the second round, it didn't happen. So now it's like, yo, Aspen, look me in the eye. You've seen it with coaches like Greg Jackson where we'll ask him a question. They'll tell him a joke or something to break the mood, something to switch it up. And as a coach, you got to do that. You got to make adjustments as a coach and understand that, yo, all right, this is not working. I know it worked last time. I know you got a whole lot of credit for it last time. And she went out there, got the knockout. I'm thinking that maybe gave him a little too much hype and it made him excited because, UFC's posting it the whole time and like, oh, look at this great cornering from him. And then sometimes, everybody does it. When something worked for you last time, you're going to try it again, and you're going to try to, the camera's on you this time. So you're going to try to say something more outlandish and hope that she goes out there and knocks her out. And then you're the coach of the year because what you said hyped her up again. But like I said, 5 rounds, it didn't work for the first 3 rounds. Switch it up to something else. Even grab her by the face, tap her a little bit, look her in the eye, because I feel like she wasn't even looking. She was looking, but she wasn't looking.
Mm-hmm.
Like I cornered my buddy last fight, and I literally had to grab him by his head, like, look me in the eye. You see what I'm telling you right now. Repeat what I'm telling you, like, or at least tell her to repeat it. He didn't even ask her to repeat it or anything like that. It was just like him just talking, yelling crazy things out at her, and she wasn't responding. So you got to realize, all right, well, Aspen, what's 1 + 1? Switch it up. Like,
right.
stop your brain a little bit.
No, I hear you. Well,
yeah.
and look, obviously they have a relationship that we don't want to necessarily speak to. But when James Krause came after Julian Marquez, right, he was on him pretty damn hard a couple fights back. But there's a positive energy behind it. You know what I mean? And that some of that to me, I didn't know if it necessarily, it just kind of felt negative to me. If you want to know the truth, I didn't think it was, but we obviously don't know the whole history. And it's just amazing how much this sport, that camera on him, it's unbelievable. And I was complaining your last fight, I don't even get to see Lou Taylor in the corner because of these commercials on ESPN Plus. So it is interesting. There is some shine there.
No, and I think it honestly changed up the game a little bit too. When now knowing that people are paying attention to what coaches are saying, I think it switched up the way coaches talk too. I think some coaches actually do it. They know the camera's on them a little bit, so they got to speak even more properly. They got to say the right things. Then some of them aren't themselves. And I know, like, I just feel like some coaches act differently now that they're on camera. But then you have the coaches that are just going to be themselves no matter what.
Right.
Like Ray Longo and Matt Serra, they're going to be themselves no matter what. You'll have people that are sit there and criticize them no matter, like, you have the Twitter nerds and stuff that'll say, oh, what is this guy talking about? But they know what hypes them up and they know what gets guys going. And that's why I love that then, whether the camera's on or not, they're going to be the same person.
Yep. And Nicksick, when I was in the Apex and Misha's fight, I think I said this on a previous show, but after the first round, and granted, she was winning the fight, but he comes over and he just couldn't be calmer. Welcome back, and just, but that was intentional. Even that, do you know what I mean? Whether it was to get her to a different place or change the energy a little bit, offset it, whatever it was. I just didn't see a lot of feel there, but anyway, it was
down a little bit, right? Like it puts her a little mood. Like even with him, like he doesn't coach her the same way as he coached Danny Ige, where he just tells them, like, what are we going to do? F him up or burn the boats or something like that. He didn't have to tell her that. She was doing good. He knows that it was calm. Oh, you were just back off of a long layoff. Hey, how you feeling? We're back at it. So it's just like another day in the office for her.
Yep. So we only got 2 bigs tonight. Let's knock them out real quick before we get to these coaches. What do you say?
I'm down. Let's get it.
Let's do it. So Belal, 23-7-1, last 3 cards. Yeah, there it is right there. Oh, up to 61%. I started hammering you a little bit when you started getting down 58, 59%, right back up. So just a couple tonight. You're not working this weekend. Again, you're home. It's nice to see the brick wall behind you. I prefer that. So co-main event, lightweight division. A lot of people think this could be fight of the night. Grant Dawson, Ricky Glenn. So Dawson undefeated in the UFC. Lightweight seems to be a good.
Oh. He came for war. You know what that means? That's battle right there.
I love it. What's up, Eric?
What up, Jay?
You look terrific,
what up, brother.
Ready to go.
I can tell.
This is a different feel. You don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. to play the show with us tonight.
Exactly.
Where you at?
And your boy's ready too. Chartier's ready.
Are you late,
What's up, Tyson?
What's up, boys?
Look at both these coaches, just punctual, like a minute at
sideways.
Oh, you're good. Whatever's best, wherever. There we go.
Wait,
we
on.
see you
Really
good.
better to take this ass whooping.
Oh, that's perfect right there.
Yeah, there we go.
Dang,
So
both you guys
Tyson,
got a good background. Are both you guys in the office or is that your
we're all
house?
centered up.
It's my home office.
Love it.
Okay. Where are we at, Eric? The gym?
Yeah, in the gym.
Yeah, he's always at work. He don't mess around.
Yeah, Tyson's
Love it.
always at home fucking off.
Got like an army of kids upstairs sleeping, so you gotta listen to those guys.
Right there.
All right, well, we got both of them here. Forget the picks. Let's go straight
Exactly.
to the freaking game
Let's
show.
do it. All right, rules of the game. This is the only rule that matters. When you know the answer, shout bully for the buzzer. Wrong answer, points go to your opponent. If you get the answer correct, points go to you. Highest score wins. Please shout bully when you know the answer. And Tyson, Eric's played the game before, and he was a victor against James Krause, who was tied at 1,800. And Krause ended up getting an answer wrong. I think there was a picture of a dude, Zhang Wei Li sitting at Popeyes, right? And he thought it was the Black Beast, actually. So anyway, Nicksick was victorious, so he has a little edge. Good luck. Bully, it's all you.
Well, we got both of you guys here. I had told you guys there's going to be a good prize for this. So the winner of the show gets a brand new pair of shoes. So I just need both of your guys' sizes and your addresses, but only for the winner, though. These are the categories for today, guys. First category, Boston Red Sox. I know one of you guys know a lot about the Boston Red Sox, so sorry, Eric, but Red Sox is the category. Who is he or maybe she? These are UFC fighter guys that are actually girls with a girl filter. So it's one guy with a girl filter.
Okay.
This one is face mash. So these are two fighter faces mashed together. You got to tell me both fighters. And then we surveyed 100 people. We actually surveyed 100 people. These are questions that we asked them, and you just got to come up with the answer.
Okay.
All right. Eric Nurmagomedov, you were here first, so I'll let you pick the first category.
Let's go face smash for 100.
Face smash for 100. So this is two fighter faces here.
Bully.
Shout bully. Tyson.
Oh, shit. I know it's Calvin and Giga.
Oh!
Dang.
He came out firing.
Got a brain under that Red Sox lid.
He was ready.
Dude.
He was ready. I thought he was going to hesitate at first, but he knows what it is.
And he said bully.
Again.
We'll go. We surveyed 100 people.
We surveyed 100 people for 100. Who is the biggest airhead in the UFC? A,
Bully.
Sean Strickland.
Bully.
B, Costa. Eric.
Boy. Hey,
Eric?
Sean Strickland.
Hey, you got it. Look at you, dude.
100 people.
100 people.
Tim,
That was like
come on.
99.
All you had to do is survey one guy. I could have had that answer.
Right.
All right. Points go to Eric. You go again.
Let's go. We surveyed for 200.
We surveyed for 200. If there was an analyst gang fight, who was running away? A, Schmo.
Bully.
Eric.
A Schmo.
Come on, Eric.
Come on.
Ariel.
Bro,
I would have
watched
guessed
Schmo
Fitzgerald
get
just because he
down
hid under the
before.
desk.
He didn't survey me.
100
Points
people.
go to Chartier. All right.
I will
Tyson,
do.
you go again.
Who is she or maybe he for 100?
All right. This is one guy.
Oh boy. Oh. Boy.
Eric.
Paul Felder.
Come on, Eric. Ariel Lottie. Points going to Tyson. Tyson,
I will
you
go
again.
Boston Red Sox 100.
Boston Red Sox 100. This fighter from New York, his nickname is Flash.
Bully.
Eric.
Something with Gordon in it. Damn.
Please don't know his first name. Please.
5, 4, 3. Come on, Eric. 2,
I don't know.
1.
Give him the first letter. Points go to Chartier.
Eric Gordon.
Oh wait.
Oh,
I thought he played for the Red Sox.
I thought it was a Red
Red
Sox player.
Sox.
I was going to say Jared. Yeah, okay.
Me too.
Oh,
I
okay,
thought
okay.
it was
Oh, okay.
I'll give that
Tom
one, Eric. I
Tom
get that.
Gordon would be the correct answer there.
Yeah, I apologize. I apologize. The Boston Red Sox was a joke. These are all fighters from New York.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So
Okay, now I get it.
now he
All right, I
gets
get
it.
it now.
I cornered
But-
Jared Gordon. I would have got that.
Yeah, we can't rob
Okay,
him.
so
Yeah.
nobody gets the points.
All right.
Nobody gets the
All
points
right.
there.
Boston
Sorry
Red
about the
Sox.
All right.
It's
miscommunication.
not Jared Gordon.
It's okay.
When trolling goes wrong.
It's probably better.
All right,
I
Eric,
embarrass
you go again.
myself not knowing all the Sox stuff. We'll go
right.
Boston Red Sox 200.
200. UFC took place in Aerodonk Bank Center, which is located in what New York City?
Bully.
Wait.
You wanna
Please
hear him
pronounce
say
that again.
Cody wants the director wants you to hear you say Adirondack.
Adirondack.
I was going to say it was at Albany.
Come on, Tyson. Utica.
Oh, shit.
There you go,
glad
Eric.
you
Utica
did. I
wrong.
wouldn't-
Yeah, you got your points back.
Utica
I
wrong.
wouldn't have known.
Eric, you're up now. This is a tight game.
Oh, man. Well, let's go. We surveyed 100 people for 300.
We surveyed 100 people for 300. The fakest nice guy in the UFC. Robert Whittaker, Chase Super, or Adrian Yanez? He's not really nice. Come on.
Give it a shot there. Come on, Chartier.
I would be totally guessing.
All right, Bully, I'll go. I'm not afraid.
Eric.
Robert Whittaker.
You got it.
I ain't scared.
Hey, he took a gutsy call right there. Everybody knows Robert Whittaker is not really nice.
All right, let's finish.
I didn't know you had beef with Bob Whittaker, Bully.
Dude, he won't answer my DMs.
There we go. All right, we
You're up,
surveyed
Eric.
100 people for 400. Let's go.
This is a big one. Who wins in a triathlon? Nick
Boy.
Diaz.
Boy,
Eric.
Paul Felder, every time.
You got it, boy.
Paulie Felder, baby, that's my boy.
I was really hoping for a swerve there. Nick Diaz or something.
I thought it would have been Diaz.
Wrong.
Come on, Tyson. You're blowing it right now. Eric, you're up
I
again.
know. I'm like in a big.
All right, let me
Big
get the
deficit
Red
here.
Sox category that has nothing to do with the Red Sox.
This New York native once fought Khabib on one big
Boy,
notice.
boy, boy,
Eric.
Ally Quinta. Let's go. Ally Quinta, Long Island, strong out. Let's
Dude.
Eric, you're running away with this.
go.
All right, Tyson, let's go.
Come on, Tyson.
I'm embarrassed.
Red Sox, it's not the Red Sox for 400.
400. This former champion was born in Rochester, New York.
Bully
Tyson.
took his first.
Oh, I got this.
Was it what's his Weidman?
Come on, Tyson.
Oh,
That's what I would have said.
I gave you a
Yeah,
lot.
that's right. JJ Rochester.
He lost to Manhamo. People forget about that.
A lot of points on the board still.
There's still a lot of points on the board. Come on, Eric, you're up again.
Man, this she or he's just like, I don't know, we're getting in trouble with this one. But yeah, let's do it. 200.
Bully,
Tyson.
Dear Lord.
that's Costa.
Got him.
There we go.
Okay, we're on the board.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. If that costume's at a bar, you know what I mean?
He or she for 400.
He or she. Oh, he went 400. This is big.
That is.
I'm trying to see Mrs. Bohashinia again.
Dear Lord.
This guy is also a coach.
James Krause.
I'm sorry.
You just said
Bully,
boy.
Bully, James Krause.
Tyson. Come
Gotta
on.
Got to give it to him. Down
He's
1100.
a-
Piece of
He's
cake.
a pretty girl. He's a pretty girl.
I'm not saying it's not bad. Oh man! All right, come back.
He
You're
or
up.
she for get the last 300 out of there for he or she.
300. This is big.
Bully.
Tyson.
Oh my.
Is that me?
Come on.
I
Tyson.
don't even know who that is.
My man, Jim Miller.
I'll be Jim Miller.
Is that me? Right?
That is me.
Now that I looked at it, I was like, hey, it's close. There's still a lot of there's still points on the board to match. Come on.
Wait a minute.
This is
Wait a
good.
minute. Hold
Yeah,
on,
Cody.
hold on,
He's-
hold on.
Cody
Wait
just.
a sec. Wait a sec. My score's wrong. It should be 2,000.
Yeah.
I had
Cody just dropped
$1,700, $300. Listen, bro,
Yeah.
you guys can't even pull this shit on me.
There's
Let's go. Give me my 2,000.
hey,
Cody.
he's at 2,000. There's a final wager question though, Cody. There's a wager question, so these are not the final scores yet. So we're still in there.
It wasn't me. It was the New Hampshire internet.
Somebody trying to cheat me. Somebody trying to cheat me. Give me my 100 points or I'm not playing.
We'll give him his 100 points. Give him his 100 points. We got it. We're good. All right, 200. Two fight. Two.
Bully.
Bully.
Tyson.
Bully.
It's
Bruce
Buffer.
Buffer and John Anik.
Wait,
Oh, that was
is
a
Tyson
face
called it
match.
first?
Oh,
No,
we'll
I
go
called it.
Buffer and Anik.
Tyson called it.
I called it.
Tyson did.
I did call it, but I would have got
Bullshit. I'm screaming the fucking.
run it back.
Jason, who called it?
I was just looking at the mustache.
This is
I
two
don't
fighter
know.
faces here.
Bully.
Tyson.
Font. Aldo and Font.
Dude, there's still one final question at the end, so you guys got to fight this for this last point. All right. Last one. Two fighter faces.
Bully?
Yeah, you
Tyson,
got this, Eric.
Is that Bully?
I got it.
If you get
I
this
know
right, Tyson, you're a beast.
It's Ngannou and Felder.
How did you get that? How did you get that?
That may be your best one, Bully.
That was such a good one. All right. This is the final question now.
Wait,
Both of you
he
guys
didn't get his
got a wager
400
right now. What you guys want to wager? So what would you like to wager, Eric?
He's got 2,400, right?
I'll tell you what the category of the final question is. The daily wager. The final question
Wait, what
is
do I
spelling
have?
bee. You have 2,000.
No, he's
Tyson
got
has
2,400.
1,900.
Didn't he just get it right?
No, Tyson got it.
Wait, what
Oh,
about
that's
that?
right.
I had Anik Buffalo.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What?
No, that didn't go to
Oh,
you. 'Cause
Tyson
Tyson
got-
said bully first.
Ah,
Tyson said bully.
okay.
The-
Well,
The
here,
rules
Bro,
were
I
say
yelled
bully.
that shit. He was over there playing with his kids.
You're speaking half Russian. That's what's going on. You're
This is
thinking like the
bullshit,
Russian.
bro. Number one bullshit. Number one bullshit, brother.
All right. So I need a wager from you, Eric. It's spelling bee.
Oh, 100 points.
You're wagering 100. So Tyson, you're down
Wait.
by 100 right now. What would you like to wager?
So if I wager 200, no wait, if he did 100. So if I get it
Make the
wrong,
break, bro.
yeah, just do 200. It doesn't matter.
All
We both
so
gotta
this
get it
is
right.
it. The word that you guys have to spell. The first person that tells me bully. Okay?
Which I said that last time, but you guys fucking robbed me.
All right, 1 second. You have to spell Iaquinta.
Bully.
Bully.
Tyson.
I said it.
Tyson said it. Spell it. You got to
It's,
start spelling right now.
AIQUINTA.
What'd you say?
AIQUINTA.
You forgot the I.
Wrong. I
Come
on.
IAQ.
How did I spell that?
IAQ.
he went AI.
IA.
He went artificial intelligence, but it's IA, isn't it?
It's IA.
Quinta's IA?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was. Oh,
Your
man.
winner and reigning and defending champion
And the double bird.
gets it again. Double champion. Eric Nicksick, how does it feel? All the trash talk, all the word. You're on top.
It feels like shit because every time I've won this show, I've gotten beat by the guy that I beat on the show in the actual fight. So it's kind of like a kiss your sister moment. But you know, I guess I get a pair of Reeboks that are gonna be size 13. Cool. Thanks for the pair of Reeboks, guys.
Dude, they're a pair
Maybe
of
get
Jordan.
some. Maybe get some
You
Venom
get a
shoes.
Venom bag.
But great game, guys. Appreciate you guys. If we can have you on for a little bit longer to talk a little bit.
Sure.
Let's do it.
At least I came back and didn't totally embarrass myself.
No, you were good. So
Hey,
Tyson,
doesn't
you were
have to do something like humiliating. Doesn't he have to go out and run in the parking lot, do something silly?
No, that's why we gave a prize this time. So the winner got a prize instead of a challenge at the end.
Nice. Can't wait for my slippers.
you might
I was
get
gonna
some
do
Jordans.
Crocs, but dude, it's gonna be Jordans. Don't worry, you coming up.
All right,
Crocs would be
word.
worth it.
Do all your boys wear the Crocs, Bully? All these UFC brethren, everyone wears the Crocs like you?
Dude, they're
Nixick, you
comfortable.
let this dude wear
put them on their
Crocs in
feet,
your
people
gym?
realize how good they are.
As long as they're cutting their toenails at this point, like it's more of the flies in our gym. So
I get it.
just be clean, man. Wash your feet. I don't care what you wear.
So, Eric, you see Tyson on top of the Green Monster the other night?
I saw him, and then I saw his team shit the bed. I was so embarrassed for him.
That was tough.
The off
Having
fun up
run
there,
ball
though.
go ricochet right by Cater's head. I'm like, oh, is that Calvin Cater right there?
Do you
Yeah,
watch
well.
baseball, Eric?
Oh, look, I watched the playoffs. I watched the playoffs.
I was literally gonna
watched-
I was gonna do nothing but I was gonna say Boston Red Sox, but I was gonna do nothing but New York Yankees trivia. I was gonna see if you guys would have got that, but I didn't know if you actually watched baseball or not.
Not enough. But I'll watch baseball playoffs. It's fun. It's fun, you know. But yeah, I watched Altuve send one right by Chartier's head over there.
I'm right. I'm a Red Sox fan too. You could be sure. But Tyson sitting on top of the monster, it's pretty amazing. I've heard.
Yeah, it was like the seats are amazing. It was cool. It was like a surreal experience, just like growing up as a kid. And then when they put the seats there, it was always a bucket list thing to sit there one time. It's nice when you don't have to pay for it too. So
Absolutely.
it was a little cold, but it's fun.
Little cold. Yeah, I believe it,
My
man.
wife's trolling me.
I love it.
Oh, that's so good. But back to fighting question. As we saw a couple weeks ago, where Krause, he said he made the mistake of telling his guy that he was up 2 rounds, but he came out and he owned up to it. What's a mistake that either of you guys felt like you've ever made inside of like a corner? Like, has it ever happened to you guys before where you thought you guys were up 2 rounds? Do you guys tell them that we're up 2 rounds, or do you guys now just feel like, we won't even tell them anything? We're always trying to say that we're losing just to keep them going.
Go ahead, Tyson.
I mean, I'm usually a pessimist. I mean, I feel like I'm so negative that, like, even when they were about to read the Ricky Simone fight, which we basically won 3-0, I was like, whatever happens in the decision, Rob, I'm proud of you, because I'm like, I never trust judges, so I'm always a pessimist, But one time I knew the kid we were fighting, and I mixed up the names. I started yelling to my guy, but calling the other kid's name. This was in a local fight. That was probably the dumbest thing I've ever done in the corner.
What about you, Eric?
Yeah, I mean, I as far as that goes, if it's a close round, for me, I always side the other way. I'll just say, hey, it was a close round, but, here's what I need adjustment-wise, and I'll always give the benefit of the doubt to the other guy, making sure that we finish the fight or finish the third round or do something decisive. But I'll try to be transparent and honest. And to be honest with you, bro, I don't think Krause did anything wrong or egregious. Maybe it was just something where he's like, hey, I feel like we're up. Maybe it was the wording. But it's going to happen because here's the thing. Myself, Tyson, Krause is constantly, we're getting reps. We're cornering fights almost every weekend. And, you think about the batting average for the success that Krause is having. One mess up out of 100 is still Hall of Fame numbers, man. So what he did wasn't anything in my mind too egregious or wrong. He just made maybe a slight miscalculation in his wording. But other than that, I think he's a phenomenal coach, and that thing's going to happen.
Yeah, no, I wasn't coming at. I was just literally, he just posted himself. To me, I didn't think he did anything wrong in general. I thought his fighter messed up, and when he got taken down, and I felt like he could have got up himself, but he was just holding. But
yeah,
and he got up so easily. I'm like, you should have just popped up in the beginning.
Right, but I mean, so let's talk about character. Is like, when all of us, we've all been in those positions where instead of our fighter taking it on the chin, usually the coach is the one that steps forward and says, like, look, this is on me. I should have done this, and that. And that helps with the coping of a loss. And you saw myself do it. Tyson did it right after Cater's fight. Krause did it after Tim Elliott's fight. I think it just shows the fact of, like, one, it's not our egos involved. We're there because we want to see our fighters succeed and win. And no matter what, when the outcome goes our way, we get credit. When the outcome doesn't go our way, we have to be in front of that bullet first too for our team.
I was just talking with Aaron Bronstetter, and he was telling me how he went to a judging course of what the judges go through. It's Margata's judging course. Have either of you guys ever thought about doing that? Because he was explaining to me what judging is, and we were talking about it, and he was like, unless you really slam the guy on a takedown, they don't give the takedown any credit. So it all comes to striking. They don't give you credit for any submission attempts or anything like that. It's all comes down to strikes and little things like that. And we're just talking about that Bruno Silva fight. I don't know if you guys watched it this weekend, where I thought he was down to the first 2 rounds because Sanchez took him down. It was like had top control for 3 minutes. But they said since Bruno was actually elbowing him off his back, they gave him the first round on 2 judges' scorecards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of times now, judges' eye for MMA, they start to understand, like Mike Pyle, Rick's story comes to mind. Mike Pyle played off his back almost the entire fight, was very offensive off his back in the Rick Story fight and won that decision. And this was like in a time of MMA where, if he's on his back, he's losing. Well, not necessarily. And you started to see, to me, the trend start changing in judging. But again, I think it also is depicted on the judge and what their situational awareness and their fight IQ looks like. So before the fight starts, I usually look and see what 3 judges we have. And because we're getting so many reps, like I was talking about, you kind of understand what some judges might be looking for. Rather than like, okay, this judge is more on the boxing element. This judge I know is more from the grappling side of things, or he's a black belt, or yada, yada, yada. it kind of gives you an idea of at least what you're dealing with, I think, when it comes to judges sometimes.
Good point. Another question I want to bring up, got a lot of talk about it, the Aspen Ladd cornering from Jim West. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you think he was going a little bit too hard? Do you think he should have switched it up on her, changed his approach to the way he was talking to her? To me, I don't think that he wasn't doing anything crazy, but I just thought that it wasn't getting in her head. So at some point, you got to switch it up to something else, a different way of talking to her.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing, aren't they a couple? Like, I'm pretty
Yes.
sure they're dating. So I think that's the element no one's bringing up. And that's like me telling Eric how to run his marriage, Like, I don't know the dynamic between him and his wife. And I think like a coach and a fighter, they have that same relationship. So now you're compounding that with adding a relationship on top of it. It's like, we don't know what Aspen's like in the gym or not in the gym, or what her personality is. Like, no one knows that better than Jim does, especially now if you add in the fact that he's her boyfriend or fiance or whatever it is. So it's hard for me to sit back when I've been in that seat being criticized for things I'm saying between rounds, things that made total sense for me. Like, even there's been times where, your brother was kind of trolling me on the stool because I wasn't saying check leg kicks, but I was saying you need to pressure forward with power shots and that'll stop him from leg kicking. But then they come back like, you didn't even tell him to check the leg kick. And so it's like, you take it with a grain of salt. Like, I'm not in the stool, like with Jim, I'm not in that camp. So I would never talk crap about what he's saying, but I didn't see anything that was that wrong. Like, you could see his frustration level go up, which I would do the same thing. Like, in terms of being frustrated, if I'm not resonating with the fighter, you're speaking a language that you think would resonate with them, and it's not working. And then you realize, okay, the fighter's having an off night, and then you're frustrated. It's like, so you're just trying to get a little bit more aggressive to try to break through to them, because they're going to be so discouraged when you sit down in that locker room after the fight and they see a couple highlights. They're going to be like, why did I do that? So kudos to him for owning up for it after, but I don't really think he needed to apologize for anything. He knows Aspen way better than we do.
Yeah, I agree, man. And, Tyson hit it on the head. You got to think, you understand this too, Belal. We have 1 minute, and really it's not even a minute. Right. It's more like 50 seconds of breathing, getting their cardio down, getting them acclimated on the stool, getting their water. But like what Tyson said, he's killing two birds with one stone by saying, hey, I need you to pressure forward. Maybe that pressure forward in their mind is that's also going to negate some of those leg kicks, right? So he's saying something that's kind of using two things at once. Now, in the Aspen and Jim thing, bro, I kind of lean towards what Tyson's saying is like, it worked for them in the Yana fight, and no one said anything about that. He jumped her shit in the Yana fight, and Aspen went out there and knocked Yana out. So he was given a hero's welcome after that. So in my mind, like, what really was the difference there when it worked for him the first time? And maybe that was what he was trying to pull out of her. And so for me, I think I'm with you too, Bully, where body language is huge for me. So if I went at her one way and the body language wasn't receptive back to what I'm trying to give her, then maybe I would have changed my tactics up going in. Maybe it was tough love in the beginning, and then it's like, hey, now it needs to be positive reinforcement. Now it needs to be like, hey, I believe in you. Hey, I know we can do this. Because like you said, the first way didn't really work, and then you're kind of pushing the same direction, and all she's doing is stepping back. Then maybe you got to change your tactics up. But I love Jim, man. I think he's a great coach. I think he's a very underrated coach. And I think the dynamic between coach and fighter is something that's very special that we aren't predicated to. Only we are to the ones that we're in the cage with and the guys and girls that we're spending our time with. So I think that he's going to learn from it. But all in all, I think he was doing the right thing for his fighter.
So speaking of your fighter, so Tyson, Rob Font won 4 straight. I got to be honest, I have tremendous respect for Sandhagen and his game, but I don't. It doesn't sit great with me, a guy coming off a loss getting a title shot. And I know there's a lot of things in the UFC that don't always add up. There's a lot of entertainment that's involved. But Rob Font winning 4 in a row against great competition. I know you're going to focus on what's ahead of you. So let's talk about what's ahead of you. Jose Aldo, December 4th. I think if he handles his business there, it's hard to deny him. Your thoughts on what's coming up for big Mr. Bob Font?
Yeah, it's a good fight. We get to fight one of those legends. I think 135, people can argue it's one of the deepest divisions in the sport. I think there's like 6 former champions in the division. Aldo's no small task. So we're, we got our work cut out for us, but we're excited for it. These are the guys that were champions when we first cracked into the UFC, and we'd always hoped to fight someday. I mean, I think you think back 4 or 5 years ago, we would have thought it was Calvin fighting him, not Rob, because, you wouldn't have predicted he'd go down. But, you go beat him, you're in a good spot. And, You know, the title picture, who knows what happens after that? It's so cloudy with TJ sitting out there and then Aljo coming back or not coming back, and whoever wins this next fight, it's weird, you know? So our motto is always, let's just focus on what we can control. And right now, the only thing we can control is being prepared for December 4th and beating Jose Aldo, making it 5 in a row.
Love it. Well, and it's funny you use the word cloudy because Rob Font's like the only thing not cloudy in that division. You know what I mean? It's for real. Big fight for Big Francis coming up hopefully in January, huh, Eric? Not against John Jones, I guess, but that's all right.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, it's just I'm excited for him to get back in there, and you know, we obviously wanted it to be last September, but it didn't shake out that way. So, January 22nd of 2022 is when they're calling on us, and man, I'm excited. We got a great opponent ahead of us.
With coaching wise, I know obviously you two are friends, you guys know each other, and then with Kraus, do you like call each other and be like, hey, I'm fighting this guy, my guy's fighting, like you guys fought him before, what do you think about his style, or do you have any notes on him? Do you guys do that type of thing?
Me and Eric definitely do it. Like, yeah, we called today, we compared notes on a couple guys. There's like a small, like, there's different cliques, I think you can see, and some people cross over different cliques, you know, like I'll have the people that I'll talk to, and then there's people that Eric's one of them, but then Eric will probably have people that I don't talk to that he'll talk to, and vice versa. But, you know, you definitely, I think the more we share information with the people that we want to see succeed, the better it is for the sport. And, I think information sharing is only going to make better for the fighters, you know, and so it's good when we have relationships like me and Eric have, and we can compare and contrast and try to make each other better.
Yeah,
would it be awkward if you guys were like fighting against each other? Like, you say if your team's going against his team, would it be like awkward between you two?
So it's not necessarily awkward for me. Yeah. So if I have a fighter going against like when Calvin fought Ige, I like right away Eric's like, yo, we're going against each other, and I was kind of cold to him because I know that's Calvin's style. Calvin's not like a mean guy, he'll never talk shit, but like when you're the other guy, you're the enemy. So it's like, all right, cool. So we got to the airport, and then he came up to say hi, and I kind of was just like, not. I was like, hey, you know, can I take it late? I don't want to piss Calvin off by being like going up like, what's up, brother? And then him be like, yo, what? Like, and I don't even know if he would have said anything, but I just let the fighter dictate the pace of it, and that was the pace we took. So,
that's the guy with that face right there.
I love it.
Right after the fight, Calvin ran over to you. Right after the 5th round ended, he ran over. He goes, Eric, can I have a hug now?
Oh man, I mean, I'm a competitor, dude, and that's really it. I have no ill will. Again, like I knew right away, and I respect that. I knew right away when I saw Tyson at the airport. I knew what their vibe was going to be for fight week. No problem, and I completely understand that. And again, like if that was the route they wanted to take, respect. And then right after the fight, you know, I think a lot of people saw our professionalism and how much we care about one another. You know, we took one big picture as a team after. I think a lot of things that people don't know is that we exchanged our camp notes after the fight. So we knew what our game plans were for one another. And we made a pact to one another to say like, okay, if we were to ever fight again down the line, we want to see each other make these improvements, because these are the things that we saw out of each other's fighters and vice versa. Because exactly what you guys said, like this sport is not, it's not a finite sport. The sport's going to go on for a long time. And for us, man, like we just want to see each other succeed no matter what. And if that means like we got to give each other tricks or tips, and that pushes the guy above, and we're just going to keep kind of chasing one another, man, we're going to be, I mean, that's why I feel like we got co-coach of the year, is we're just doing things together that really no other people would do, because their egos were getting in the way of it. You know, we don't have that. We have a stronger bond than most. And, you know, I appreciate that. Like, man, I had news today about a fight for one of our guys, and he was the first dude I called, because I appreciate his opinion. I respect his opinion, and I know he's going to be straight up with me. So, I mean, I love my relationship that I have with him.
What's your guys' path when, say, one of your fighters comes up to you and he says, yo, they offer me this fight, and like, you know, it's a bad fight matchup for him. But like, you know, all fighters in general, they're gonna be, oh, I'm gonna take, we say yes to any fight no matter what. Like, is that something where you like try to tell them in a way where maybe we'll look at something another way, or do you just try to figure out how you'll make that matchup work as a coach, or you come up with a game plan, even though you probably think that stylistically it's a terrible matchup for you guy?
You want to go first?
Yeah, I think it just really matters on the pecking order of where you're at in the rankings too. Sometimes there's like, okay, we're in the top 10. It's going to be one or two names. You're Punahele Soriano, you're not really ranked, so you have a little bit more depth. So where if you don't like a matchup, maybe you can go back to Mick and say, hey, is there another option or are there other availability? But yeah, to be quite fair too, Belal, like I think if there are matchups, problems or situations, those are things that you kind of have to be transparent about with your fighter and say, look, here's the areas that I think that we need to get better in. And if we're not getting better in these areas, this is the problems that we might see down the line if we take this fight. So we need to work hard in this stuff. So I think just being open and transparent, because you don't always want to just say yes to every fucking thing that comes down the pipe.
Yeah, I think he makes a good point. Like, no fighter's going to be good against everybody. The goal is you want to be well-rounded. So if you fight a wrestler or a striker, you can do it. And there's going to be matchups that you like better than others. But I think you got to look, like you said, the pecking order. Like, if you've already said no to one fight and then they offer a shitty matchup, like you can't just keep saying no, because then you kind of get in their bad graces. So you got to kind of, a lot of it I always say is like a gut instinct. Like, is it the opponent, the timing, and then the location? And it's like, if 2 or 3 of those are bad, you're usually trying to say no. But if like, all right, the timing's not great, but we love the opponent and the location sucks, like maybe you do it. But so you're just kind of going with the gut instinct on a lot of that stuff. But yeah, I think you just got to be transparent of like, it's me and Eric's job or your coach's job to like figure out like, oh, if it's a bad matchup, that means A, like we got to be working on those holes, year round anyway. And then B, it's like our objective to come up with a way to beat that person and work around our deficiencies. And, there's definitely fights. If you told me 4 or 5 years ago, Rob fighting someone like Ricky Simone, that's a nightmare, and then, he goes and he actually gets takedowns against Ricky. So I think you just got to keep getting better. You got to recognize early on what your deficiencies are. It's like if Eric has a new guy coming, Xtreme Couture, and he sees that, like, he can't defend takedowns, I'm sure they're going to work a lot on wrestling. And then the idea is if you don't just want to be a gatekeeper in the UFC and you want to climb that top 10, like you can't have bad matchups. Yeah, there's going to be tougher fights, but you've got like, I'm looking at like guys like Rob and Calvin, like, all right, let's look at the top 10. Like, I feel like we could beat any of them, but we have to fight smart. Now it's about executing. But if I had a guy in the top 10 that I know couldn't beat 4 of the guys because he just had such a big hole in his game, that's a huge red flag to me anyway.
Yep.
Another question I want to ask, I won't keep it long, but for fighters that aren't in the UFC, like what's your path with them guys? Say if you guys got guys that are like trying to work their way up, they got a job, they got this, and they're trying to figure out what's their path to get to the UFC. Are you telling them like, let's go can crushing? Or are we telling them, yo, let's just try to fight on LFA or something like that? We're 2 or 3-0. Let's fight the best guys that are outside of the UFC to show that we belong in there. Or like, what way do you guys talk to these guys?
So for me,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go.
I would say I think it just depends on who your guy is. Like, there's some guys like you see now with the Contender Series, like the low level UFC guys have never been as such a disparity between the top 15, right? Like, because you have these guys coming in that 5 years ago wouldn't have gotten in the UFC. They would have to go and win an LFA title or something like that, and then maybe get in. So there's a big disparity. So if you have a guy that, like, all right, he's not ever probably going to have the skill set of a top five. He's not ever going to be as good as Robert Calvin, right? So those guys, maybe you got to focus a little bit more on cans and then like try to take that path to the Contender Series. But then when you have guys like that are well-rounded, like, Rob and Calvin, you can take on tougher opponents, but you're always thinking you have good matchups. So like, I think it's different with every fighter, but you also got to be realistic. Like, I know with me, like we don't have a big gym. Like I only work with guys that I know could go to the UFC and do really well. And those are the guys I'm going to put my energy into. So I'm not trying to just have a bunch of guys sitting in the gym that, we'll get fights for and try to climb the ladder. So for me, it's, maybe a little bit different than a bigger gym, but yeah, you gotta build their resume to build confidence and experience. Like, you want to get them some tough fights, like just like a boxer would. You get them some tough fights, you get them some ring time, you get them, but obviously the UFC loves finishes. So you're looking for guys that you think you can get a good finish in, but they're going to test you in some way. Like, I'm sure Belal, like, I don't know if ever growing up, you've ever had to fight a guy you used to train with. That's like stressful. I think getting that early on local, because then you go on the Contender Series against a guy that you might have trained with a bunch. Now you don't want to be the first time that ever happened. Or guys like, you go against a good wrestler or a good, a guy that, has, a college wrestler or something like that. Or, you go against a black belt the first time you go against a black belt, if you're only like a blue belt or something, that could be a little stressful. So just trying to get them like check all the boxes. That way, when they do get to the UFC, it's like, it's not going to be the first time they ever fought a black belt or fought a good wrestler or something like that. So they're not like psyched out before the fight even happens.
Good answer. Well, just one final question for you, Eric. Like a serious question. There's a street fight between me and Strickland. Whose back are you having?
Probably yours, because I'll tell Sean that Sean is the biggest pain in the ass I've ever met in my life. But I love the guy. Here's the thing about Sean that's refreshing in a lot of ways, and follow my logic. Like you know what you're gonna get from him. You know if he likes you. You know if he hates you. You know what his day is gonna be like. But all in all, like in the gym today, actually, so he's sparring with Dominic Reyes, and he's talking shit to Dominic Reyes during the whole sparring session. But the reality is he was talking shit to Dominic Reyes, telling Dominic to knock him out. He wants Dominic to knock him out. He wants him to succeed. But the delivery is the problem. It's the way he says it. You're like, fuck this guy. He's a piece of shit. But his heart's actually in the right place. It's just not coming out. It's like it's coming out the wrong end. It just should be there, but it's out the butt. And you don't know what the fuck the guy's going to say. It's a complete crapshoot. But when that thing was going on between you and him, I told him, I was like, yo, no, enough. I go, that's my boy. Leave me the fuck out of it. Don't post anything. Don't tag me anything. I go, furthermore, Belal's supposed to be coming in and training with us and coming to gym to the team. I go, so now he's not going to come in here because you guys are going to have a beef. So I go, let that shit go. That fight is not happening. So he's like, okay, no problem. So
Yeah, they are going to have a beef if Belal comes in there. That is true. There is going to be a beef. Sorry.
It's all good. I'll bring my guns. But appreciate both you guys. Thank you guys for coming on. Fun show. Thank you guys. Tyson, your trash talk is very good on social media. We just need to get Rob and Calvin to start talking trash to some of these fighters. I told them to get more active on there. But no, it's just fun having all you guys. Appreciate both you guys.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
luck in the fights coming up. Great to meet you, Tyson.
Thank
Later,
you
buddy.
too.
later, guys.
I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
You're not gonna get me talking about Strickland. Yeah, you can sit right there. I'll talk more about Strickland now. These guys, I'm gonna be talking. Belal's my boy, right? It's like as long as if no one's cutting this sound like it's John, and I gotta say whatever I want. Belal's my boy.
Yeah, no, I agree, man, and I think that's the hard part too. Is like what he brings to our gym in Belal. Like he wants to come and train while he's in town. Like I don't want there to be a problem. I want these guys to be able to help each other climb to the top.
Right.
Why are we beefing right now? What's the problem? And like, I don't know, man. I don't understand a lot of that stuff. I don't get it. But at the end of the day, like in my mind, there's two different weight classes or two different divisions. Belal offered to step up and fight him, make some money off of doing it. And it is what it is. It's business, bro. So whatever.
Right.
But I love him. Belal's my guy. So
My brother.
Well, you're the best.
So
Everyone says
I
everyone
kept
says
Eric on
Wonder
for a reason. I wanted to ask him a question.
go ahead.
Go
Fire.
ahead,
So allegedly, there's a mustached fighter who may or may not be making a comeback. Who should Paul Felder fight if he were to grace the octagon again?
So I call him Folly Pelder. Fall Pelder and I went through the lineup and just kind of thought about dates and maybe guys that might fit a style matchup, and we kind of both agree that if he does decide to come back, I think like some just good novelty fights, like name fights, like guys that make sense that are gonna move the needle. He doesn't really have to get into like, okay, who's ranked where and where we're gonna fight him. If he decides to come back, I think just some fun slobber knock-in. This is gonna be a good, entertaining fight. Makes sense to me. So, but he hasn't missed a beat on the pads. We worked hard the last couple of weeks. He's been in town, and I'm hoping that eventually those competitive juices start flowing again, which I think they will. That he makes a return, because I think this sport's better with Paul Felder in it, to be quite honest with you.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I was like, man, we just us light sparring. I've said it. You could feel it. He still got it. And I was like, he was not one of those fighters where you're like, oh, this guy's getting beat up. This guy went 5 rounds with Dos Anjos on 5 days' notice after cutting a whole bunch of weight, and he looked good doing it, and he looked smooth. So I told him, I'm like, whether do what you want to do, I feel like you haven't lost a beat. You're still in there. You're still good, and you can compete with any of these guys in the division. Like obviously, like you said, we don't need to sit there and all right, let's go inch by inch all the way to the title. We don't really care about that. Let's just have some fun fights. And You have that other Irish guy that's out there. McGregor wants to come back and he needs a name. And him and Paul already had some fun banter against each other. Or even like a Nate Diaz, where the UFC is looking for that guy where it's like, oh, we don't want him to fight a Luque or somebody that's going to knock him out and kill his brand. It's like, all right, well, put him in a fun fight against Paul Felder. And I think something like that will be like a perfect fight for Paul.
Exactly, and he's on a new contract, and there's a lot of things going his direction as far as his fight career goes. And like I said earlier, man, like he goes in there, takes the RDA fight. He looks great in the fight. He does it kind of pretty much coming off the couch, but more coming off the bike, right? And that's the nice thing about Paul is no matter what the guy's doing in life, he's going to be pushing the limit. He's going to be pushing the envelope. I don't care what it is. And for me as a coach, that's inspiring to be around. I like being around people like that. And when Paul Felder walks in the gym, or guys like Belal or Francis, like it gets me excited to do my job. And it makes it not a job. It makes it what you got into this sport to do. And that's what Paul Felder resembles to me. Like, he wants to work hard. He wants to be the best at what he does. And no matter whatever the hell the guy gets into, if it's being a commentator, he's going to be the best that he can be at it. Triathlete, I don't care what it is. I want to be around dudes like Paul Felder.
My brother.
Well, you're the man. We want to be around dudes like you because everyone says Wonder Boy's the nicest guy in MMA. No, it's Eric Nicksick. You're the man.
Thank you, Jay.
Seriously, appreciate it as always, man. For real.
My pleasure.
Thank you, brother.
All right, I'll see you boys later.
Good night, man. Later. That guy's awesome.
Yeah, he's the man.
It is funny though when he's talking about Chartier at the airport. Like not really giving him. That's pretty fascinating to me because they're tight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fight week is just different. I like how Chartier is just like basically, hey, if Cater doesn't want any small talk, I'm not doing it either. I love it.
Yeah, that's how you got to do it with the fighter.
Yeah, it's like Kevin Garnett, Cody, right? When Ray Allen coming over the bench as Miami Heat trying to give him down.
Oh yeah,
get out of here.
Or
That
Jacoby.
nonsense.
Jacoby's dead to me.
Jacoby Ellsbury.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're off the rails here with the Jacoby Ellsbury talk. How many fans out there remember the show? No Jacoby Ellsbury. Anyway, let's quickly knock out the Bic. So the co-main event, as I said, could be fight of the night. Grant Dawson, pretty heavy favorite. What is it? Minus 435. It is. Ricky Glenn, plus 330. Been around a long time. Should be a great lead up to the main event. Who you got in the co?
Yeah, it's going to be a fun fight. Ricky Glenn is one of those guys where one fight he looks amazing and he'll look great and, he'll always look like he's getting better. But I know he's coming off a couple of injuries. He takes long layoffs between fights. I think Grant Dawson is just that young mountain right now that it's going to be hard for Ricky Glenn to climb. And that last knockout from Grant Dawson, momentum is a crazy thing. And he was supposed to fight a great grappler. I think who's he supposed to fight? Forgot who he was supposed to fight, but it was supposed to be a ranked guy that he was supposed to fight, and he was training for him, and then Ricky Glenn stepped up. But I think Dawson's going to show that, he's going to be a contender in that division right now.
I agree with you. So moving to the main event, and I got to be honest, the weight thing, the fight's just a little bit less interesting for me at this weight. And especially for a guy like Costa, because for me, he when you have one loss in your whole career and it's to Adesanya, and then you're Vettori on the other side of it who beats everybody but Adesanya. For me, these guys are a little tough to gauge their greatness or how great they can be because they haven't beaten the man. So all the circumstances. First, I want to know who you pick, but I also want to know, does that weight impact your pick at all?
It impacts my pick just because it makes me dislike Costa. But like both of these guys, they're just both weird. Marvin's not likable just because he'll sit there and still tell you that he beat Adesanya. So that'll piss fans off. And Costa's coming in 210 pounds. So that's going to piss fans off. But Marvin stepped it up again just by saying, hey, I'll fight him. I don't really care. I'll fight anybody heavyweight or anything like that. And that's a fighter's fighter right there. Marvin really, on the mic, he messes himself up a little bit when he talks, but like you know what you're going to get when he gets in the cage. He's going to go in there. He's going to fight no matter what. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's an angry Italian, and he's good everywhere. And he's still super young. And I know he lost to Adesanya, but he still went 5 rounds with him. He didn't get finished. Costa got finished by him. And I think that Marvin can break Costa there. I feel like Costa is just not the same ever since losing to Israel. You just think that he just doesn't seem like the same guy. He's not that same confident guy. He came up with excuses, still talking about I'm drunk on wine. And win or lose, like you shouldn't have weird excuses like that. There's different guys that'll go back to the gym and fix the stuff that were broken and get better. And if he's coming up with that excuse saying I was drunk on wine, he's not going to go back to the gym. He's not going to run back to the gym right away, get better. Obviously he hasn't, just because he's freaking 300 pounds or whatever. So he hasn't been training hard. I think Marvin's just a lot more hungrier, and he wants to stay active, and he wants to fight these best guys. And that's what I like about Marvin. I think Marvin's going to win this fight.
So if Marvin's trying to fight in middleweight, what do you think he showed up at? You know, if he's going to fight
fight week, yeah. Fight week, I'm thinking Marvin's like 197 or something like that at the highest.
So I just think there's a lot of things that go into it, and you certainly know more than I do, but there's certainly things that Marvin Vettori did the 10 days leading up to the fight, or 10 days leading up to now, that Costa wasn't. Costa, how long's he known he wasn't going to make this weight? Paulo,
yeah, you know? Or like you're just sitting there looking for an excuse. I know you're trying to play the, oh, well, at least I told you guys early, so early, so the fight's still going on, but like, it's just kind of annoying. I mean, you don't have a menstrual cycle, so you can't come up with any excuse. Like you should have. It's all about hard work for men. It's all about dieting for men. It's all about discipline for men fighters. Like you can't have that excuse. There's no little injuries or anything like that. Like lose the weight, and it's easier for guys to lose the weight, especially a guy like him who has that much muscle.
Right,
the weight should be coming off easily for him. So it's just more so for him not wanting to put the extra work in, or thinking to his head like, man, I've gone through these hard weight cuts. I don't want to deal with that again. It's been a long time since he's fought. So maybe he had that stuff going through his head mentally. Like, I don't want to feel that pain. I don't want to feel that drainage that I feel. I don't feel like doing that right now. And it's just not professional at all.
It's just interesting how, like, the COVID climate with all these random fights here and there. And even when we're talking about Paul Felder, it's like when Felder retired, I think part of it, and I don't want to speak for him, but it's because he really sort of didn't maybe feel like he could climb the ladder again to be the champion, or that seemed a little bit insurmountable. But now it's like, oh, I can come back and fight Diaz or McGregor for fat cash and a little entertainment venue. Why not?
Well, and how about the fact that Felder beat the current champion, like handedly?
Good point. But
yeah, I also think that Costa's issues have run far past like this fight. Like since 2019, he's only fought once a year, and you can't be like, how did he elevate to the top at that level while putting on these performances? Like, I don't know, if it smells like shit, looks like shit, then it's probably shit. So I don't know, like, why is he, like you said, if like Belal's not walking around 30 pounds above his weight, like that's just unhealthy in general. Like, what, you're a professional athlete. Like I have this problem all the time with, like, I'm just a fan, I'm not a fighter, but like part of your job is having your body in check, you know? Like you can't be fluctuating 30, 40 pounds and expect yourself to be at peak for long, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And that's what I tell the guys, and especially younger fighters, where I try to tell them, like, don't make it a habit of being so big out of camp, because you never know when you'll get that call. And especially if you're not in the UFC, if you're not getting big enough checks where you can take long breaks, go on vacations. Because if you're still that up and comer that just got into the UFC, you should be hungry. You should be thinking back to the days where you're hoping that you get to the UFC one day. Like, I'll fight anybody. I'll do whatever I have to do to get to the UFC. Then you get to the UFC. Then you forget about that hunger. You lose that hunger a little bit. You get a little bit more money, and you want to spend it on stupid things. You want to go out to eat. You want to spend it on dumb dinners. And then you get that call, hey, you want to fight? And then you're thinking like, well, this guy gets 8-week camp. This guy gets a 10-week camp. Why can't I get that type of thing? But you haven't earned that yet. You haven't got to that level of deserving a 10-week camp. Like, the UFC looks at you and is like, they're signing 5 guys a week from Contender Series. So you got to bring something different to the table. You got to be ready, because like Mark Cuban always said, there's somebody out there that's working hard to steal your job. And nowadays, with all these young up and coming fighters, they're all trying to steal that job. They're all hungry. And these old veterans now are losing that hunger, and they're forgetting what got them to this point. What that thirst, that feel, they wanted that title. Now it's like, yo, I'm getting a little bit more money now, so you don't feel like training. You don't feel like doing this now. Oh, I fought, so I got a paycheck. So now, I'm going on vacation a little bit. I'll train once I have a fight. You start losing that little taste for it. You start losing that energy to get up and go to practice. The energy to get up and go running when you don't have a fight, when you have nothing coming up. And these guys need to start figuring that out. You gotta, what made you want to get here? You wanted to get here to be at the top, and you wanted to get here to be a champion. So stop losing that hunger. Stop being freaking unprofessional.
When you look at Paulo physically, dude has put in work in his life, no doubt about it. You know what I mean? So put it in. And I'm a fan. I love watching a guy fight. So anyway, episode 45 in the books, fun with the coaches. Hopefully next week, fight announcement. That's what I'm always hoping. But either way, I know you're still training, so it's going to happen. Anyway, for Cody Merrow, our director, and Belal. But by the way, Nicksick pronounces your name Belal nicely.
That's why he's the man.
Yeah, I like that. Anyway, remember the show. Hit us next Thursday night. We'll be prepping for UFC 267. For Cody Merrow, Belal Muhammad, I'm Jason Anik. Have a good night. Thank you all. Later.
Peace.